what does it take to be a good gamer? How does one get in to the whole ecosystem, and ano bang requirements? I don't know. Anong qualifications to be in one of your teams?
Well, look, let's step a bit back also, because I mean, I have really seen the game industry evolve over the last few decades. I'm old enough to still remember when video games were played in arcades, and I remember the transition from arcades into the home through PCs. Console, the early days of console gaming. I remember we owned an Atari, one of those black and white 8-bit Atari players,
Mm.
Atari consoles at home. I also remember the Nintendo Family Computer. And over the years, I've played on Xbox, I've played on PC, and all kinds of other things. So it's also been, it's just interesting to see how everything has evolved. Obviously, it's moved on to mobile, and obviously, it's moved from offline to online. And really, it's just fascinating to see how much the industry has changed just within the last few decades. Now, there's a lot of things obviously that goes into becoming a really, really good team. The first thing, of course, is that you have to be super passionate, because it takes literally hours and hours and hours of really, really getting good at the game. If you have aspirations of becoming a team, and if you have aspirations of forming a team, or getting noticed, or being represented by somebody like Nexplay, there's a couple of things which I would suggest. The first thing is to specialize, and that's really just pick a popular game that you really, really want to get really, really good at. And I think it's better to specialize. Find people like yourself, that's passionate and interested in the same game, and learn how to get really, really, really good at it before you spread yourself too thin and start kind of looking at multiple titles for your team, etc. So, for example, in the case of Nextplay, Mobile Legends is one of the big ones, and so really kind of specialize. The second thing is that you should think about your team as a brand, right? In the same way that the big brand names treat themselves, and that means your team has to be clearly differentiated, in terms of brand. How you kind of look at brands, right? Brands are usually clearly differentiated from one another. That means in terms of values, in terms of personalities. That's why branding. That's why things like uniforms are such a big part of all of this. It also means you have to have a good online presence, like your website, etc., and that means that it's easy for people to find you in terms of your channels, whether that's Facebook pages, YouTube pages, etc. And then finally, when you think you're ready, and is to seek representation, right? And that's where a company like Nextplay comes in, because this is what we're good at. This is how we do, right? We make superstars out of these teams. It means that we can also act on your behalf in terms of finding sponsors, and really kind of help with the amplification, and making sure that you get the kind of recognition as a team that you deserve.